Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mark Stanley. I'm joined by my co-host Kyle Knight, and you might hear a certain difference. Kyle, how are you doing today?
Good. We're next to each other now.
Yeah, so I'm out visiting in California for a couple of weeks, and this is actually the last day I was here. I've been here for about 2 weeks, and we decided what better thing to do with the time that I have than to actually record an episode where we're actually sitting right next to each other. So, as I usually start off the show, Kyle, how are you doing today?
Pretty chillin'. Got work later. We just decided to, do the show. So talk about NBA, rookies, pretty much it.
Yeah, I figured a lot of stuff has happened, so we figured we'd talk a little bit about it. The NFL's in the offseason. We got our stories. What we could touch on later times, closer to when the season starts. You got your holdouts, and you got the whole Le'Veon Bell situation, the whole Anthem situation. But we'll talk about that more once football season gets closer. So we're going to talk a little bit more about basketball. Excuse me, I'm drinking some lemonade. So let's get right into it. So this has been quite a free agency we've had this summer. Definitely a lot of moves, a lot of people moving around, a lot of people switching jerseys who we maybe not were expecting so much. But let's talk about some of those. So first of all, let's talk about the elephant in the room. LeBron James has had it with the Cleveland Cavaliers. We pretty much knew he was going to be going anywhere but Cleveland this offseason.
We knew.
So he finally inked the deal about a week ago, I think it was official. Maybe 2 weeks ago. Where LeBron James is officially on his way to be a Los Angeles Laker. He signed a 4-year contract with the Lakers, and LeBron James now gets to join the famous names of Kobe Bryant and Kareem and Magic to be another one of those famous players who gets to put on the Laker jerseys.
Yeah, who keeps destroying LeBron's murals, huh? In LA. Who keeps destroying his stuff?
Obviously, people who can't get Kobe out of their minds, or people. Let me just put it this way. If you're a Laker fan, you're not a Laker fan if you go and destroy LeBron's mural in Los Angeles. Like, I get if you probably think that you're a Kobe-ist or whatever, you think Kobe's the greatest. You have the world's greatest player putting on a jersey for you next season. For you to do anything to vandalize a mural that is dedicated to that, you don't deserve LeBron James. Any Lakers fan who defiles and vandalizes a mural to LeBron James and doesn't celebrate the fact that he's putting on purple and gold for you this fall, y'all aren't Lakers fans. So I need to hop on another team because you can't no.
You can't just destroy it. He's going to play for you.
Right. Why would you destroy the mural of a player who's going to play for you? He's most likely going to bring you at least one title while he's there. Like, why would you do anything that would shed a negative light on that? I don't understand. Either way.
Yeah.
So we had a couple people that moved along there with him, not necessarily high profile, or I wouldn't call them high profile, but some pickups nevertheless. You had JaVale McGee, who left the Warriors to go join the Lakers. You had Lance Stevenson, who left Indiana again, now to go join the Lakers this time, and Rajon Rondo, who left the Pelicans to go join the Lakers. So he's got a little bit of extra help on the side to help him out in Los Angeles, along with the young core that they already have building there with Josh Hart and Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, who they just re-signed. Julius Randle, who they still kind of have, but he might be leaving soon. I don't know. And of course Lonzo and Brandon Ingram and players like that. They got a nice young core, young coach Luke Walton, who's been trained under Steve Kerr, with the Golden State Warriors. So things are looking up. They've got LeBron James. They've got a young, hungry core behind him. So the first question we got to ask is, starting this season, not for the future, because next year's free agency is going to be real world too, but starting this season, how far are you predicting the Lakers to go?
Well, it goes without saying. They're making the playoffs, in my opinion. If you have LeBron James, there's no way you should not make the playoffs, West or East. So I think they're going to make the playoffs, but as far as winning a finals, I don't even think they'll make it to the Western Conference Finals. They might not even make it out the first round. But they're going to make it far. They may make it as the 5th seed, 6th seed, around there, but they're not going to be top 3. Definitely not. Not in the West.
I can pretty much agree with that. I think they'll make the playoffs. I think they'll surprise some people. They'll get out the first round, especially if the talent in the lower half of the Western Conference isn't as good as people try to say that it is. Because everyone loves to say, well, now LeBron is in the West. Now he's not gonna make it to the finals automatically because it's da 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 da. I mean, the West is stacked, and it is more stacked than the East per se. But the bottom half of the West isn't as strong as everybody likes to say it is. Yeah. People like to say the West was stacked because the East was comprised mainly of the Cavaliers for the last few years.
Exactly.
And then occasionally a Toronto, occasionally a Boston, but mainly it was LeBron James running that conference. Occasionally a Pacers even, if we're going to go back to the Heat days and LeBron. But now that he's joined the Western Conference, everybody's, well, he's not going to the finals because, the West, in theory, had, the Spurs, the Warriors, the Rockets, but think about it now. You got the Warriors, back-to-back defending champions.
Got the Rockets.
You got the Rockets, who just added Melo, which we'll talk about a little later. Who else do you really see as, a threat
Spurs
in that
don't
conference?
have Kawhi anymore. I don't think with DeMar,
they'll still be good with DeMar.
They'll be good, but here's my thing about DeMar. We'll get into that later, but, DeMar, I feel like his style of play catered to the Raptors a lot. Him under Popovich, I don't know if that will mesh as well as it did with the Raptors.
Right.
As far as one-on-one play, because they don't do that really in San Antonio.
Right.
And
so there's that. But, as far as talking about the Lakers not making the playoffs and not making it out of the first round.
They're making it to the playoffs.
I think there's an opponent out there that they can... Basically, I'm going to put it this way. I think the Lakers are getting out of the first round of the playoffs, possibly even the second round, unless they run into the Rockets or the Warriors. If they run into one of those teams, I think they'll get eliminated. But if they can get around one of those matchups in the first or second round, then I think they'll definitely get it out of the first or second round. I can see them making it to the conference semifinals.
Yeah, teams they could beat. I think the Nuggets are going to make it. That would be a good series against the Nuggets.
I think they can beat OKC.
Yeah, they could beat OKC. They could beat OKC, definitely.
Especially if Playoff Pete plays like Playoff Pete played in the playoffs last year, which was getting smacked by who was the guy from the Jazz who kept beating him?
Donovan Mitchell. Oh, Joe Ingles.
Joe Ingles. He was getting worked by Joe Ingles.
Yeah, he was getting worked by Joe
So
Ingles.
if Playoff Pete really exists he can't beat Joe Ingles, the Lakers should have no problem, even with that young squad and LeBron. They should have no problem getting past.
And the Trailblazers, I think the Trailblazers have proven that come playoff time, they.
Did you hear Kevin Durant told T.J. McCollum that they're not winning the finals, straight up?
He said that?
Yes, straight up. He told T.J. McCollum, he's like, "You're not winning the finals."
When did he say that?
It was this week.
Well, they're not. They're not.
He's not lying.
He's pretty given.
Yeah, I love CJ. I love Damian. Those are two fantastic players who play for a solid team.
They just don't have enough pieces.
Yeah, they just don't have enough pieces to contend. Especially now that we're in the era of super teams, they just don't have the pieces to really make noise come playoffs. I can see them fighting into a top 4 seed, maybe a 3 or a 4, maybe slipping down to a 5. But I just can't see them really making any waves for people to really consider them to actually be a threat in the West once you get into the nitty-gritty of the playoffs, conference semis, conference finals, etc.
Right.
So, let's move on to some other moves. Well, Carmelo. We thought they were gonna keep the band together, the big three in OKC, and he even opted into his deal, and they traded him.
Oh man!
And then that team waived his rights, so he's gonna be a free agent. It's believed he's gonna go join the Rockets in Houston.
Yeah, here's the thing about Houston: they're still gonna be good, but they let go of some pieces that are very questionable, and they still haven't re-signed Clint, have they?
Nope.
They got to re-sign Clint.
They got to re-sign Clint Capella. They lost Ariza. They're basically replacing Melo with Ariza, which the common person would say is an upgrade. But
Melo in his career now, Melo doesn't play defense. Trevor Ariza was playing kind of pretty good defense on Durant in the playoffs.
Not only that, but Trevor Ariza was a team player. He knew what his role was with the Rockets. He knew that he wasn't going to be the star, and he was okay with that. He worked well as a role player.
Melo's going to shoot every shot.
It's going to be hard to get Melo to be a team player because that's just never been him. He's never been in a situation. Well, I mean, you could argue with OKC, he was in that situation, but as you can see, he didn't really adapt to it well.
Yeah, he didn't. Because Russell has the ball in his hand. He has Paul George.
Because that's 3 ball handlers that all need the ball. And one of them's going to have to basically understand that they have to give up the rock, if not 2 of them. So now you're going into a situation that's even better at passing than OKC was when it comes to the Rockets and getting the ball around between Harden and CP3 and Gordon and like moving the ball around, trying to kind of play like the Warriors do, except a little bit more ISO ball than the Warriors do. And you're going to have Melo to basically come in as a piece to contribute to that. And
basically a catch-and-shoot guy.
Pretty much. But, I don't know if that's really going to be Melo's game, especially now at this.
It's never been Melo's game. With the Nuggets, he was the star guy. With the Knicks, he was the star guy. And he tried to adapt for the Thunder, and they did not play up to standard.
And knocked out in the first round by Utah. Nobody really saw that one coming. So I guess it'll remain to be seen. So my question to you, Kyle, is: do you think with the loss of Ariza and the add of Melo, do you think the Rockets got better or worse getting ready for next season?
I think they'll remain at quite the same, possibly.
Granted, you got to remember last year they were a 1 seed in the West, so.
Yeah,
it's not, it's kind of harder to get much higher than getting to the conference finals outside of winning the championship itself. So I say that with a grain of salt. Did they get better or worse with the addition and subtraction there?
Well, they played really good in the regular season last year, but adding Melo and taking off Trevor, my biggest thing is if they sign Clint Capella, they got to re-sign Clint Capella. If they don't re-sign Clint Capella, they're going to do worse. Like point blank, they're going to do worse. That's the big thing, but with Melo and Ariza, I don't think it'll be that big of a change. Maybe they may decrease a little bit, but
so where do you see them finishing in the conference, like first, second, third, blah blah blah, and then B, how far do you see them going?
I see them finishing second because I don't know who else would match them at second.
Mm-hmm. And Warriors obviously first.
Yeah, Warriors could be first, and
Conference finals.
Conference finals. They'll make it to the conference finals, I think. With that squad, they can make it with that squad.
So you think they'll pretty much get to the same spot they were last year? Do you think it's going to be a 7-game series again? Do you think it'll be shorter?
It's hard to say because I know what DeMarcus Cousins brings.
Right.
I know what DeMarcus Cousins brings to the Warriors. On paper, that should be like 5 games.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Rockets could win 1. They might even win 2.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think they can make it past the Warriors. The Warriors just added an all-star. A top 2. He's probably the best center he is the best center in the NBA right now.
Granted, with an injury history.
Yeah, with the injury history. But when healthy, he's the best center in the NBA. I say that because Anthony Davis is not a center. He's a power forward. If Anthony Davis was a center, he'd be the best center. But he's a power forward. Barely.
Had to clear that one up, huh?
Barely.
All right, so I guess that remains to be seen. We'll probably talk about it more as we get closer to the NBA season. Actually, not as we get closer, but more as we get towards the end of the NBA season when we've got a little clearer picture of, who's really going to be atop the league. Maybe like January, February, March, around those times. We'll talk more about it. All right, biggest story of the trade season so far, outside of LeBron James. Kawhi Leonard and the Kawhi Leonard saga with San Antonio has finally come to the end. He was traded to Toronto for DeMar DeRozan, Jacob Poeltl, and a 2019 first-rounder. San Antonio, in response, gets DeRozan and Danny Green. So my first question, who do you think won this trade, San Antonio or Toronto?
I hope the Raptors fall off the boat. I hope they do awful this year.
And
they
why
have
is
no
that?
loyalty. The Raptors, as far as... The funny thing is, You got a Coach of the Year in Dwayne Casey. That was the first thing.
Yep.
And Mark would tell you he was mad about that too.
Yep. Still don't like how they Casey.
Fired him because we're all for African American coaches. Let's just get out of the way.
Yep.
And he actually wins Coach of the Year. And I think they fired him before that though. But
they fired. No, it was before it was announced he won. Yeah. I mean, we all knew he was going to win it.
We all knew he was going to win.
But the firing happened almost as soon as they got knocked out of the playoffs.
Yeah, like right after, it's like you already knew it was going to happen.
Right.
You guys were going to fire him. And then as far as DeMar, you got a star player who's proven that he could play. He's your star player.
And basically, he proved that he wanted to be a Raptor probably for life. He did so much in the community. He gave his heart and soul to that team. He was one of the captains.
Exactly.
He did everything right that you can do as a player. When people, fans always like to talk about, loyalty this, loyalty that. These players aren't loyal. Kevin Durant, blah 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 blah. LeBron, da da da. He was loyal to Toronto to the T.
But nobody gets mad at the team.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say this right now. I don't want to hear any more loyalty arguments.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're talking about Kevin Durant. I don't care if you're talking about LeBron. I don't care if you're talking about Kawhi. I don't want to hear. I'm going to say this right now. Players owe zero to the organization.
Yeah.
They owe zero.
It's real.
Because this is the biggest. This is the biggest example of that right there. Yeah. Players owe nothing. You can be the star player. You can be the franchise. You can give everything, your heart and soul, your passion, your love, your time, your effort, everything, your blood, sweat, and your tears to an organization to try to move them forward, and then they can still do something like this. They can still say, yeah, you are a franchise. Yeah, you've helped us get to one of the best eras of Raptors basketball in our series history since Vince Carter. Or actually, pretty much in our franchise history, period. Even better than Vince Carter. And we're still going to trade you.
Trade you for a guy that hasn't not only played, 6 games?
Yeah, and not only that, but he doesn't want to play there. He wants to play in Los Angeles. We've all known this. Yeah. Kawhi Leonard wants to play in Los Angeles. Anywhere else he's going to throw a baby fit. Now, he might have a change of heart just so he doesn't look bad before he signs that contract with the Lakers next year. But you basically traded your franchise for a rental.
Yes.
A rental. A 1-year rental.
And you don't even know how he's going to perform.
Exactly.
You took a whole year off.
You had a bona fide star on your team. The chemistry was already there with the rest of the squad, including your other star in Kyle Lowry. He put his heart and soul into that team. And now, all Toronto had to do was bide and wait.
Yeah.
They knew LeBron was going to leave. You have been constantly hanging around the number 1 seed in the conference for the last 5 years.
This was your guys'
All you
chance.
had to do was wait to see where LeBron went and bide your time. Keep Casey, keep DeMar, keep the team together, put some pieces together in the draft, maybe sign a free agent or two. And the East was yours to lose.
Yeah.
And they blew it up, basically.
The only people you had to go through was the Celtics. That's it. That's it.
And maybe Philly.
Yeah, maybe Philly. But, you guys are good enough to make it. You could have done it. Yeah, you could have did it. I'm not saying you guys would have won, but you guys could have went there.
This was really looking like, before they got rid of DeMar, like it was going to be the Raptors division or the Raptors conference to lose. Boston's great, but we also don't know how well Hayward and Kyrie were going to be next year. And Philly's still on the come up. They're still retooling pieces here and there to make sure they're a real contender. So we can only put on what we saw on paper last year, which is Toronto was the best team in the Eastern Conference based off of record.
You guys just
the only person who has been responsible for them not making the finals when they've made it to 3 Eastern Conference finals since LeBron joined the Cavs is LeBron James. He has now left the conference entirely. He didn't go to Philly. He didn't go to Boston. He went to the Western Conference. All Toronto had to do was bide their time and wait for that decision. If they had still had everything put together, the division was theirs. And the conference was theirs.
They were right there.
So, to conclude that up, loyalty means nothing. I don't want to hear any more complaints about loyalty and player loyalty because this shows that teams will sell you out in the matter of a second.
Teams don't have loyalty.
Just if they
we
feel like
known when Isaiah Thomas was traded.
Yep.
From the Celtics.
Yep.
We should have known loyalty doesn't mean anything.
After he came back from injury and from a funeral for his sister that died, and still came back and played a playoff game for them, and they still traded him. Loyalty means nothing. I want to hear nothing from fans talking about player loyalty because, as you can see from Isaiah Thomas, from DeMar DeRozan, loyalty means nothing to teams. Loyalty means nothing to the organization.
Nothing.
So, back to the question. Who do we do? So I guess we could say we do feel technically the Spurs won that trade. Because Toronto gets the potential to have a potential MVP
if he plays like how he used.
If he plays like 2014 Kawhi Leonard or 2015 Kawhi Leonard.
We don't know that.
But yeah, exactly. We don't know if we're going to get that Kawhi Leonard. And even so, that could be just for a year.
Yeah. And so basically, they could have just traded Danny Green for DeMar.
So I'm going to go ahead and say, since they got a first-round pick, a young big man, and DeMar out of it, who's probably going to be very angry at Toronto.
I just wanted him to kill the Raptors.
I honestly hope he comes out and plays out of his mind.
Out of his mind.
I think San Antonio is going to be a playoff contender again, as usual, because you can never count out a pop team. And I think DeMar has the potential to probably come out with a vengeance, especially when he goes back to Toronto.
Definitely. I will definitely be watching that.
All right. So last thing on Kawhi Leonard. So it's been reported Kawhi Leonard may be ghosting the Spurs. For those of you who don't understand what the term ghosting means, it basically means when you go dark. To basically put it in relationship terms, if you break up with your significant other, but you don't want to have nothing to do with them, so you block them on social media, you block them on Twitter, you probably even delete your social media entirely. You just want to make sure there's absolutely no chance of contact between you and another person. That is what Kawhi Leonard is doing right now with the Spurs. So it's been reported that before the trade went down, he really didn't talk to any of his staff or coaching staff or anything with anybody with the Spurs organization to basically talk about his commitment to the team after the season was over. And then the trade happened, and now it's reported he's not going to join the Team USA basketball camp and I quote, to focus on transitioning teams. He wants to focus on transitioning to Toronto. Now, that'd be all fine and dandy and believable if we didn't remember that Team USA is actually coached by Pop. So, what do you think, Kyle? Is he ghosting? Or is it just a matter of extreme coincidences?
At this point, I don't know what to believe.
I mean, this is a lot. Yeah. If it's a coincidence, it's just a lot of coincidences that line up. Like, this is like planets aligning type of coincidences.
I think he has to be ghosting. Like, Kawhi doesn't say anything. He doesn't talk. So, we don't know. So
he doesn't really express himself a lot.
So,
man, a few words.
Yeah, so I think it's just a lot of coincidence. I've never had that many coincidences. I've never seen that many coincidences. He has to be ghosted.
I agree. All right, so we're going to move to looking forward to next year. This is going to be the last topic we talk about today. Like I said, it's probably a little bit of a shorter show. But we're going to look forward to the NBA season. So, as far as our rookies coming in this year, who are we looking at to possibly show out next year?
For Rookie of the Year or...
Rookie of the Year. Who do you think is just going to turn some heads?
I think Colin Sexton's got it. I think he's going to be good.
You stole mine.
Colin Sexton?
Yep, you stole mine.
Colin Sexton's going to be real good. DeAndre Ayton already has that NBA body. Mm-hmm. Definitely. He's like Dwight Howard. Because DeAndre is like ripped. Mm-hmm. He's a big dude.
Luka?
I haven't seen Luka play.
He hasn't really played in any of the summer league. I think it's because they had him rest because he had just won a championship overseas, and so they're giving him some time to rest, so he's not playing nonstop basketball.
Right. Yeah, when I see that, I'll comment my decision on that. Kevin Knox, I think he should be okay.
Kevin Knox has looked really good in summer
really
league.
good, really good. Like the Knicks, I don't know. It's coming a reoccurring theme. They just like booing people at the draft. I don't know. Their fans.
I think it's a New York thing.
Yeah,
because I think the Jets do it too.
Oh, they do.
I think the Jets
you must
fans
think
do
it's
it.
good luck or something. But it hasn't been good luck for the Jets, anyways.
Yeah.
Or the Knicks, but I mean they did get
Mo Bamba too.
Yeah, Mo Bamba. Thing about Mo Bamba is he gotta bulk up. This dude, he can't just be letting Joel Embiid. I don't know if you guys saw the video of Joel Embiid just bodying him like a couple of times.
I mean, hey, it was just reg basketball. It was welcome to the league, you know.
Yeah, welcome to the league.
I mean, he's got time. He's got a whole summer to get big and, you know, prepare himself for a little bit of, you know, basketball at the next level. So we'll have to see. And then, you know, I think Colin Sexton's going to turn some heads. I think he's going to be hit with the Kyrie syndrome. Yeah. Because everyone knows, you know, how Kyrie was in Cleveland after LeBron left. Well, not after LeBron left, but the first time when he was drafted after LeBron left. So it was just him. And they went from being in the finals the previous year. Oh, no, they weren't even in the finals. They got knocked out. Right? No, they got knocked out the conference finals. Oh. That was when the Magic went.
It was?
Oh. Yeah, that was when the Magic went and lost to the Lakers in 2010 because Boston had went the year before. And so... you know, he was drafted. The Cavaliers had nothing because LeBron James did everything for that team. And I think Colin Sexton, unfortunately, is going to be put in the same situation. Basically, he's getting put in Cleveland. And as we know, 2 of Cleveland's teams now are irrelevant. And the third one's only good because the rest of the division sucks. So you got the Cavaliers, who are going to probably do what they did the last time LeBron left, which is fall off a cliff. It probably won't be as steep because at least they have Kevin Love to help him out, whereas they had like no all-stars in that other team. And then of course, you know, the Browns need no introduction about our expectations for
Browns.
Yeah, I mean talking about the 2 Cleveland teams.
Oh yeah. The Browns are just not good.
I mean, to be fair, they've started drafting somewhat correctly. So, and they've picked up...
They've been trying to draft correctly for the past 5 years.
But this is a little different. You know, they started to pick up some pieces. Like, they got Jarvis Landry to help out the receiving core if Josh Gordon can stay healthy and stay out of the suspension. And as Stephen A. Smith likes to say, off the weed! Then they've got a nice little dynamic duo between Gordon and Jarvis Landry. You got Baker Mayfield, who's hopefully going to turn a lot of heads as quarterback next year. They got Tyrod to basically take the starting job for Baker while Baker's still learning. The defense has still got Miles. They got a few other pieces down there. I don't think that they'll be fighting.
Yeah, Hayden still, right?
No, Hayden went to Pittsburgh.
Oh.
But I think... compared to last season when they went 0-16, I don't think they'll go 0-16 now. That's not going to happen. I don't have faith in Hugh Jackson to really be the coach that's going to turn them around. But I feel they can take a step in the right direction, which if you win a football game at this point, it's a step in the right direction because it's better than not winning any the previous season. I could see Cleveland. You know what? Let's look at Cleveland's schedule real quick. I want to see if there's any winnable games off the top of my head that I can see them.
Did they play the Raiders?
I don't think so. Not this year. So we're going to cue this up here. All right.
Okay.
Oh, they do play the Raiders.
I hate this.
All right.
I hate to say
All right. I'm going to give them 3. They'll go 3-13. I can see them beating the Jets. I can see them beating the Ravens at home. And I can see them beating Tampa. And then maybe they can split with Cincinnati too, because Cincinnati's pretty sorry as well. So maybe 4-12. Anything you're seeing on here?
They might get one against the Chargers. Maybe. A low maybe. And
like a 10% maybe.
Yeah, 10% maybe. Besides that, depending on how Deshaun Watson, if he's healthy with the
they're
Jets,
not beating Houston.
If Deshaun Watson is healthy or not.
Okay, knock on wood, because I don't want to wish injury on Deshaun Watson because he's already gotten hurt and I kind of like him. Knock on wood. Hopefully Deshaun is healthy for that game. I don't think the Browns are winning that game.
Yeah, they won't.
We're just saying this purely assuming that everybody's healthy for every game.
Yeah.
So what's your call? I said 3-13. I said the Ravens. I said 4-12. Ravens, Bengals, Bucks, and then
they'll
the
beat
Jets.
The Bucks. I think they'll split with the Bengals, like you said, because I think the Bengals could still get one.
Yep.
They could beat the Ravens. The Ravens are.
Do you think they'll split with the Ravens too?
Yeah. I think they'll split with the Ravens. I think they'll beat the Jets. And I told you maybe beat the Chargers.
So that'd be a 5-11. You're giving them an extra win.
5-11.
Once again, 4-12, 5-11, still an improvement from 0-16.
Can't get any worse.
Right, you can't get any worse than that. So you can't get negative wins.
Yes.
So that's still going to be an improvement from what we've seen so far. Now, finishing up with the NBA again, because we kind of got off on a thing with Cleveland.
Oh yeah. So what do you think about Trae Young? How is he going to perform?
Trae Young. A lot of people are already comparing him to Steph. I think Trae Young can be a great shooter. I don't know if he's going to be Steph range. But I think he has potential. I think give him some time, give him some help. He could be something. I predict he'll have a solid year. I don't think he's gonna, wow anybody just yet. But I think he'll have about an average to slightly above average rookie year. What about you?
Average. He's gonna be playing. I don't even think the Hawks have Dennis Schroeder anymore. I think they let him go.
He was traded, I believe. Yes, he was traded.
Yeah, so probably gonna have the starting job now. So I think he'll do average. Same with MPJ. I think he'll have an average season.
I'm personally a pessimist on Michael Porter Jr.
Yeah.
I want him to be successful because he went to Missouri, but I'm not gonna believe the hype around because I've already sat through a whole year of this and the Michael Porter Jr. hype, and he only played 2 games, so I'm not gonna hop on the Michael Porter Jr. hype train until I physically see him on a court for more than 2 games.
Right.
So we'll have to see about that.
Understandable.
Too. So to wrap up, we got way too early MVP candidate votes here. I went on oddsharks.com. We've got our odds so far as of yesterday, I believe. So LeBron James is the plus 250 favorite to win his 5th MVP in his career. Behind him, AD at 300, James Harden and Giannis are tied at 400, KD at 650, Kawhi at 800, and then Steph, Kyrie, Embiid, and Westbrook are rounding up. So, right now, July 25th, 2018, if you were to guess who you think would win MVP next year, whether using the odds or whether using just your own eye test, who would you guess right now would be your MVP?
Anthony Davis to win.
Really?
Because Anthony Davis MVP to win this year. He has some players that have left. Rajon. And
I'll say his biggest players have left.
Yeah, and DeMarcus. Let's talk about the Pelicans are stupid for. Not even gonna talk about that. But yeah, it was.
Well,
they let go of DeMarcus.
We'll talk about that in a little bit, but keep going.
DeMarcus and Rajon. So I think it's his to win because he has no choice but to show out. He has to show out. He already showed out last year. I feel like he's just going to average a triple-double.
Now, there's often a saying that people believe, which is that the MVP trophy is a popularity contest built on stories, and more often than not tends to go to the best player on the best team. So if that's the case, I think the only exception so far has really been Russell Westbrook. But other than that, LeBron usually played on the best team when he won his MVP. I'm pretty sure Derrick Rose was the 1 seed with the Bulls when he won his MVP. Steph back-to-back 1 seeds.
Yeah, but
James
it's not going to
Harden.
be KD or Steph this year. I don't think that's going to happen.
No, but the Warriors also weren't 1 seeds last year.
But they were. But everybody knew they was going to. They're the best team. Everybody knew that they were the best team.
1 seed ish, because the Rockets were the 1 seed and James Harden won. That's kind of what I mean. So, if we're ignoring that, LeBron James should win the MVP every year. I mean, let's just get that out of the way. LeBron James physically should win the MVP every year. But since we can't give it to him every year because we need parity, I like your AD pick. I just don't see it based off of how the MVP's gone the last few years. You know what? I don't think he's there yet either. I want to. I think he needs another year of just pure dominance. He also lost Jabari too, so that kind of doesn't hurt. That doesn't help them either. You know who I could see winning an MVP next year? Joel Embiid. I think the Celtics are going to do what they're supposed to do. They're probably going to get their 1 seed, whether Kyrie and Hayward's healthy or not. I think the Sixers are going to come in at the 2 seed. And I think Joel Embiid has heard all the talk about him this summer. And all the talk about how the Celtics are going to win the East and how Philly's not quite there yet and how Philly's this and Philly's that. I think he's going to harness that. I think he's going to use it. And I think he's going to come out and play like a monster next year. Especially knowing there's no LeBron James waiting on him in the playoffs.
I think Joel's a great player, but I can't see him winning the MVP this year at least. As far as like...
I'm picking it as a dark horse.
Oh, a dark horse.
I'm purely picking it as a dark horse. Because I'm like, LeBron James is obviously the favorite. AD would make sense because he's probably going to go off with, the Pelicans. And then James Harden is obviously last year's MVP, so he'll probably keep doing what he's supposed to do. But Embiid could turn some heads. And like I said, the MVP likes stories. It'd be the story of a player who's no longer shrouded by LeBron James and rejuvenating a team that has once had glory. Talking about trust the process. The process takes them back to the playoffs, possibly a 2 seed. And who's going to be the captain of that team? Joel Embiid. What better story do you need? Trust the process becomes 2 seed in the playoffs with an all-star.
Right. You never know. Might. Never know.
We'll just have to see how that works out. Well, we're pretty much cutting it at, looks at about a little under 40 minutes. So any last things you want to say for today?
I don't even think we need to talk about DeMarcus. He's on the Warriors now and for $5 million. And they're going to the finals. Now we can we can. We can. I'm not necessarily going to say the Pelicans are dumb because they offered him what they felt he was worth for basically being, in their eyes, damaged goods as an injured player. I think it was 2 years, $40 million. Mm-hmm. And he didn't want that because he felt he was worth more. Right.
So personally, I don't know if it's the Pelicans are dumb as much as DeMarcus is smart. Because DeMarcus said, well, hey, I could sign a 1-year veteran minimum with the Warriors. I can go probably win myself a ring. And en route to winning that ring, I can prove to other teams that I'm worth signing to a max contract. Personally, I think it's a stroke of genius on DeMarcus' part.
It is.
Now, Pelicans, I think they did what they thought they had to do. Because they offered him what they felt he was worth based off of coming off for injury and missing a ton of the season last year. They're like, look, we don't want to give this man a ton of money because he already missed a lot of games for us last year. That just feels like it would be money that we're throwing into a hole and burning.
Right.
So we're gonna offer him what we think he's worth based off of the injury history. If he takes it, he takes it. If he doesn't, we move another direction. So I don't know if I don't think the Pelicans are stupid. I just think they did the best they could with the hand that they were dealt. Now, whoever didn't decide that they wanted to pick up DeMarcus Cousins after when he was a free agent, that remains to be.
And then when the Warriors decided to pick him up, everybody want to be mad.
Exactly. DeMarcus Cousins is a flake and da-da-da-da-da. I'm like,
what about the other team?
I'm about to say, like,
y'all had a chance.
Yeah, everyone else, all other 30, no, all the other 28, not including the Warriors and Pelicans, 28 teams had an opportunity to walk up to DeMarcus Cousins and offer him a contract, and nobody did. Absolutely not. Somebody like offered him and lowballed him, or they offered him. He didn't want to go there. Nobody gave him an offer. So the Warriors just said, "Well, I mean, he's here. You want a contract?" And Boogie was like, "Well, nobody offered me, so why not?"
Right.
And then everybody wants to get mad. Like, they just did what was smart. They're like, this big man who, when healthy, can be one of the best big men in the league is just sitting here and nobody's offering him, and I guarantee you he's hungry to get on the basketball court. So let's just give him a contract that doesn't hurt us too much. We can afford it under our tax and call it a day.
Pretty much.
So, yeah, that's DeMarcus Cousins right there. That's that situation. So, after that, we're probably going to call it a show. My laptop's about to die. So, this is going to be our show. This is the July 25th edition of Knights of the Stanley Table. We hope that you join us next time. Again, we'll be back on Skype. I'll be back in Texas. And we will see you next time.